It's another Celebrity Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I'm Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How you guys doing?
Fine,
This
is it
what they call it? Is it
We're still in the heat.
what's it called again? Habalia.
Habaya.
Yeah, sorry. Habaya.
Why
this
they
bling-
zoom into
I think why
it
are they always blinged up like this? Can't they have simple habayas?
I think they do.
So
I think it's with the
Miriam got
fashion trend.
This abaya for herself, and we had a fight about who will get it. So I went to get my own. Because
But I love habayas, but I don't like them this blinged up. I don't like too much shine like this.
Oh, she thinks that you're wearing
should
mine.
have won. So people don't think I'm
Disclaimer,
borrowing your
that
clothes.
is hers.
It's
But I'm wearing my mother's own. I took it by force. You can see it's very large.
beautiful.
But is that simple habaya without this
Yeah, they're
much of
simple
bling?
abayas.
They're
yeah,
plain blacks. They were plain
I
black.
really
The
love to
one I
have
wore
one.
for the Dare to Inspire was, it's just on the sleeve, you have a bit of embroidery. It's very simple.
I like that. I like to have an abaya. So you're going to hook me up with somebody that's...
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. I'm very, very fine.
Stop reminds me of sexually confident women.
You remember?
I
I haven't
do.
worn it since then.
Yeah.
And it's been in the house is like 3 years now. And, you know, I'm sort of feeling like, Tokwe, what's the next big project? You know, you do big things, and I've been pretty calm, you know, on big projects for a while, but I'm feeling something. I'm
cooking something.
Getting inspiration.
Yes, I'm getting inspiration. But
Inspired.
one thing is, most people would want you to. It takes a lot of confidence to stop what is successful because you feel a conviction that that's not where you're supposed to be in. And that was, for me, sexually confident woman. That I know it was successful. I know it's something that touched life, but I knew in my heart that there was more for me to do as a project than that. So I had to stop it to really get from God. What exactly should I deposit my energy into? And it's about growing people and beyond just sex, but everything holistically. And that's what I want to do.
Interesting, because I thought sexually confident woman was a huge project, and I actually liked you doing it. I thought it was a big deal, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. Hi, Nima.
I'm good. This morning, I feel the need to appreciate someone who's inspired me all my life. And I mean all my life. My mom had 4 girls. I needed another role model, and she looked at someone she'd mentored to do the same for us. And Auntie Bimbo has been in my life all my life. So she still thought the need to buy me Salah shoes. And even though it's flat, I'm wearing it this morning. And I thought of how they were on the drive down here, that you've been in my
lovely.
life all my life. You buy me, you go shopping and think, meeting and coffee bro me. You're there,
nice.
and you know, confident. Her name is Mrs. Bimbo Abimbola Grillo. She's with the Lagos State government, and whenever she says "aburo me," and when I go to her office and she says, "Come on, go and carry my bag," I'll be like, "I'm a celebrity." No. The drama back and forth. I just love her.
It reminds me of an auntie. I used to have an auntie when I was younger, Auntie Shaki. She used to like dressing me up. She used to buy anything she buys for herself, she used to buy for me then.
In fact,
We used to be so close, but you know, life happens. Everybody just grows and moves apart.
I'm afraid that life should happen to these two relationships.
Nonima, you will not let it happen because your nature, you would keep.
No, but I see her in her. She sent me to the farmers market. I'll make sure.
Mariam, what's happening this weekend?
Well, I don't know what's happening this weekend yet, but I had an experience, and just with somebody, it gave me sort of an insight why it's important to have information and have knowledge. You know, I recently locked my hair.
Yes.
So I started locking, and I went to I went to one place to do it, and they use like synthetic products that most people use. Fortunately, I found someone who uses only natural product, and she gave me so much information about your hair type, your hair pattern, and how you can have your dreads look better. And she looked at most of the people that we know who have dreads, and she helped me see what the problem is with their dreads and how it affect them in the future, how some of them would actually start to lose their hair or keep dropping. And I'm saying, how come there's this information and nobody knows that? Because it takes time, it takes energy. Yes.
It's important. I tell my staff that when you're doing makeup, explain to the customer why I'm using sanitizers, because it helps. Your former hairstylist might actually know these things, but if you don't say it, people would assume you have no idea. here. So I'm like, show your depth of knowledge when you know what you know. But Mariah, maybe you go and meet her.
Yeah,
place.
you should.
And
So it leaves your hair, your locks clean and fresh.
Is it
But
in
if
Lagos?
you do what she does, the first thing she does, she pours something on your head and you see the build-up of the wax you've used over the years, and it's really nasty.
So we're having 2 locks in the building.
Well, because you like information, which is good, which I like about you, and you seek for it, and so you found
You're not good
information.
I will
Me,
send it to
see,
her.
I am
Just
one
let
of those
her
where
know.
I'm
don't
always
know
at the
Kanoki.
receiving end. I like to, because talk about go and find information and tell me. You have gone to find information yourself. So I like to receive and then use the knowledge. I don't go and find it, but you always bring it to me, and I thank God for that. So God has surrounded me with women who seek knowledge, which is great. So thank you for that.
Anything
And I'll
happening this
definitely-
weekend?
This weekend we have party. Party has started. The invites have started coming in. There's a party today. There's a party
Ramadan
tomorrow.
is over, so
Yeah,
There's party everywhere. There's a burial today. Somebody's 80th. Somebody's 75th. Then there's next weekend another 80th
I
party.
don't know how Yoruba people will say party and then they'll say burial. How is a burial a party?
It's a party, man. What are you talking about? After you bleed for how long, and then you pass out. Trust me.
It's really pass out.
For a life well spent.
Yes, life was
That's how they count it.
celebration of life.
Celebration of
That's 10 cows. So we are celebrating life. Anyway, let's go on a break. When we come back, okay, actually today is World Food Safety Day, and its aim is to prevent, detect, and manage food-borne crisis and risk. So from us, we urge you right now this morning to watch what you eat and make sure you eat right all the time. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspapers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Starting with the Punch. PDP, NGE, others bash federal government as NBC suspends AIT repower license. The NGE boss, Nigerian Guild of Editors, says, this action is unbelievable. Why would government do this in democracy? This action is unacceptable and will not stand. An article responds saying that the legislature has been challenged, the judiciary has been tackled. If we stand by, the press loses its independence. There will be little to differentiate us from the dictatorship. This should not happen. Arekpo residents lament road neglect, beg Ogun State Governor. CAF boss Ahmad arrested in Paris for alleged corruption. Court refuses to bar Gbajabiamila from contesting Speaker's position. APC set up panel to probe Oshomole's deputy over resignation call. Debts. FG revokes 5 companies' all licenses. And Ganduje queries Emir Sanusi over the alleged 3.4 billion naira fraud. And Saraki says, I have no regrets, tells Buhari as 8th National Assembly tenure ends. Okay, let's start with the human interest story. The Arepo, what happened? Who has that story?
Residents of Arepo, under they have an association, have cried out that the ACCDA, they have been abandoned for the past 8 years. A contract was awarded to fix the roads within their area,
2006.
and in 2006. But the company wasn't mobilized, and so they never came to do anything. And they tried reaching out consistently to the former governor, and it didn't work out. So now there's a new governor. They are saying, we hope you would not neglect us. We have, we're like 20 estates within this area, and we can bring a lot of commercial value to the states. Don't fix our roads so that
And it's pretty close to Lagos now. I think it's even,
it is very, very close to Lagos. So, because it is an Ogun State property, it is Ogun land. There are rights, there are CFO, all of that taxes is
goes to
paid
OPIC.
to Ogun, to OPIC. So they should take care of those areas. And I realize that most of such areas that are extremely bordering on Lagos State have been abandoned
And they said,
by
they
the Ogun
said in
community.
the article that this will stop urban migration. It will, because this, of course, is a border community to Lagos, and most of the people living there work in Lagos, but live there, and they pay their.
let's talk very quickly about repower. What happened? AIT.
So
Who has that story?
yesterday, the news broke out that the owners of AIT and Repower have been suspended by the embassy, and a lot of calls from people like Muriah read in the papers. The NG, what was it?
Guild of Editors.
NG, the Guild of Editors had something to say about it. The article made issues about it, but the NBC broke down some of the claims of the issues, allegations against AIT, some of which were breaches and that they gave notification about, and a lot of other breaches. And they said there's a program on AIT called tag Kakaki Social, where they just generate things from social media and unedited, and you know, put them up on the show, talk about them. In one of them, they said, they picked it from social media, of course, on that segment on Kakaki called Kakaki Social. They said, Nigeria is cursed. And these were unedited, they were broadcast the way they were picked from social media. They said, Nigeria, we will declare the state of, the independent state of Niger Delta. They said, Nigeria irritates me. And certain comments that are divisive and inciting, like that. And they wrote to AIT on these issues. Okay. And rather than address the issue, the AIT management went and posted the letter notifying the management.
So they've gotten notified. They've been fined before. They've been warned before. Yes. Not once, not twice. And consistently warned and fined.
According to the reports, also NBC actually had gone to several meetings
with them
to try to resolve this issue. Yes. Unfortunately, nothing was done.
So the owners of AIT, the chairman of the
Raymond
Dokwesi protested in front of at the Ministry of Finance information yesterday at the U.S. Embassy and other embassies like that, saying that this is a gag, that they've not contravened any regulations. I would love that response to the breakdown, because the NBC breakdown was very detailed. They also attached an allegation that their dues, their licenses
and
dues
also, Nima, for those notable people who are coming out to say this is not good for our democracy, we're trying to gag the press, have they seen the facts? Because I know we, as TVC, we get these letters from MNC all the time. We get fined. During that campaign period, we got lots of calls, we got lots of visits from MBC saying, listen, your view, these women that are doing XYZ, balance it. They kept telling us to balance. If not, they kept threatening us that they will shut us down if we don't balance the conversation. That's why we try very hard to ensure that there are always two sides of this story. So we understand, we have also experienced
politics
NBC
for a while, so we're able to get it.
Yeah. So it's important really to DAO Communications to make sure that they make a robust response. I said, so it's important that DAO Communication comes out with a robust response so that we can tell who's,
because we don't want to see whereby they're gagging the press either. We have freedom of speech.
But let's not move to, let's take Saraki's.
Saraki. We'll take Saraki elsewhere now.
He's only in the Punch.
Okay, go ahead.
So the outgoing Senate President Saraki is giving advice. So he's talking, and I like this advice. I know that it seems that when they're on their way out, they just seem
very informed,
more clear, about things. So he's saying that power is transient, and what is important is that wherever you find yourself, make sure that you're working in the interest of the people.
Wow.
He also said that he takes exception to the fact, to statements that he and Dogara were not patriotic, that they did their best, that yes, they had issues with the legislative arm and the executive, and it has to do with the interference of the executive when it comes to things like budgeting and also. And
he added that they will continue to have that clash if the executive cannot recognize the power and strength of the legislature. Understanding that, listen, we are also our own arm of government, and they are entitled also to draft the constitution, issues of budget and all that. So he's saying that this risks to continue. Don't think because I'm going that you're not going to have this issue. We'll continue to have issues if we consider interference.
To have unless you do these things right now.
Move on to Daily Sun. Senate presidency, coast clears for Lawan. Why I stepped down after meeting Buhari, says Goje. Ndume Kicks insist on contesting. Namani backs Kalu for deputy Senate president. 2023 Southeast APC repositions, reconciles aggrieved members. Kano, Ganduje queries Sanusi, and FG revokes 6 oil licenses. Which one are we taking here?
Do you want to do
Lawan? Let's take Lawan right now.
So after a meeting, the coast is clear for Lawan. Congratulations to Lawan. It seems he already has a smooth sailing journey aside from facing Ndume. So his major opponents were Ndume and Goje. Goje, who was the former governor of Gombe State, said that after the meeting with the president, out of respect for the president and understanding the importance of party supremacy, knowing that he wants, the presidency has a goal for what the legislature should represent, he's bowing down out of respect for the president to allow Lawan go ahead to become Senate
President. We are
not
even so much worried about Lawan. Our issue is who's going to be the deputy Senate President. That's the issue.
That's the issue.
Because they said Omar Agege.
That's a new development now. So there are 4 of them, Omar Agege, Kalu, Ali Mikena, and Boroface.
Yes.
So, but Omar Agege seems to be the party's favorite amongst the 4 contenders. We'll see how he plays.
But people are really... He's from
Omar
South
Gege
South.
is from the
Niger
Delta State, and Ali Mikena is from Edo State,
Right.
Borofis is from Ondo, and Kalu is from...
So people really want it to be Southeast.
They want it to be Southeast. So because I know the Southeastern people are canvassing that Kalu gets it, being that is to sort of like mend the fence within the Southeast.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like Southeast.
Personally, a lot of people would like Southeast actually, but unfortunately, we're not the ones that decided. Let's move on to the nation. House of Reps. What happened there? Oh, we don't know yet, but Jabiamina also is costing. Seems to be costing.
They should grant the order to stop. Yeah.
So let's move on to the nation. Battle for deputy begins as Goje steps down for Lawan. We talked about that already. 6 oil firms lose licenses over debts. Pan Ocean is one of them. APC restates trust in Oshomole. Emir of Kano gets 48 hours to reply his query. And SEC sends policemen to Oando. They should leave my Emir alone.
So the Emir, we've been following this story, and
Governor Ganduje.
Yes, the governor has now given him a 24-hour ultimatum to respond to the commission, the panel, yes. They say the panel is saying that also the Emir seems to be sort of interfering with investigation, that when they ask people to come and give clarifications on issues, he's sort of giving them instructions and warn them off. And he's restricted, and the governor has restricted Emir to the palace. So the activities that he does annually, that he goes round the government house, important sites in Kano State, he was unable to do that. And this is a tradition of 104 years.
Yes.
So we're allowing politics affect what is beautiful and cultural and traditional.
Is that a governor has this kind of power over an Emir? I mean, I don't understand.
Temporary office. Has that kind
I don't
of power
understand.
and
breaking an emirate of 104 years. So, but we must face the allegation.
Yeah.
So the allegation is that the emir mismanaged 304 billion naira. I was wondering, how did he get 304? Yes, 3.4 billion in the past 3 years.
Right.
So I also felt like, how did the emir get that much money in 3 years? I don't understand.
No, talk about strong allegations. How did he get the money? Is he restricted in his spendings? Is his spending subject to any any agency, financial agency, like the governor's office should be? Should his spending also be a matter for the state
What I'm saying
assembly?
is that we trust that the emir would
but the governor's
respond.
is a state assembly issue, and they could not investigate it.
But on this issue, we're waiting for the emir to respond, because you know he has a way with words, and we know that he hopefully we should surely have some kind of response
but don't
to
you
this
think like
allegation.
the response a little too slow coming? I haven't heard
Well,
anything yet.
they served him yesterday, Thursday, so today is Friday, so let's see what happens. Moving on to the nation. Battle for deputy, we talked about that already. Let's move on to another story. Oh, I already took nation.
Well, you don't take the story of the oil.
Okay, yes, 6 oil companies will have their licenses revoked because they have been owing what they call legacy debts to the federal government in tune of trillions and trillions of naira. So what the companies are...
Pan Ocean is there.
Yeah, Pan Ocean, Ocean Oil Corporation,
Allied
Express
Energy,
Petroleum and Gas Company, Cavendish. And then they will have
owned
some that
Nigerian
are owned by Alhaji Aminu Dantata, that's OML 108, and another founded by Abiola. So these are like big name families, and we're wondering, why are you owing us so much money? You're big, you have a lot of money. What's happening?
That's what you think. Moving on to Nigerian Tribune. The Senate presidency, it's now Lawan versus Ndume. Okay, let's take another story. Knox kudos as senators recounts 4-year stewardship. We talked about Ganduje already. Let's take another story. APC state chairman passed vote of confidence on Oshomole. No land for cattle ranching in Igbo land, says Ohaneze. I think that's pretty much the story we haven't taken.
So the Ohaneze, which is like the apex umbrella of the Igbo socio-cultural organization, has spoken up after they had their national executive council meeting that, and this was said by Chief John Nwodo. He said, "We are prepared and waiting for the to execute the threat by forcefully occupying. We won't allow the threat to allow cattle rearers forcefully occupy Igbo land. They are not. We are against it." That's what he's saying. The Miyetti Allah, through its leader, has threatened to unleash mayhem on Igbo land, and we have agreed that we are not giving them any land for cattle rearing. So
Okay.
I think that because this is already sounding like there's going to be crisis between these two communities, and so I believe that the president should speak up concerning this, and let us mediate before we have a case of banditry or somebody killing the other person again. Can we just quickly stem this?
All right. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, it's Friday. We discuss topics that caught our attention on social media. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. We would like to hear your views on a particular question. Should a religious person, and that's like the average Nigerian, either Islam or Muslim, or even, what's the third one? The traditional. We're all into one thing. Should you actually leave things to God, or you can sue? We'd like to ask this viewer, ask you, because we saw this, that lots of people just like to leave matters to God, especially when something hurts so much. Something hurts you, gets to a point where family just feel like, this matter, you cannot, only God knows all things. In this kind of situation, just leave it to God. And when you see your counterparts outside the country taking these issues, getting justice through the courts. Now, is it realistic, and I'm happy that you're here, Nima, to leave things to court in this country where we know how justice is dragged for years? You know, would you advise, and I'd like each of us to share stories of situations in our lives where you were advised or convinced to leave it to God, and looking at it retrospectively, was it the right decision? And I'd like to share that, extend that question to our viewers too. Looking at it retrospectively, was it the right thing to leave that painful situation to God? Or could you have actually sought redress in the courts or found a way to resolve that issue yourself? Would you like to go for
I don't believe that we should just leave the situation to God. It is something we use to pacify ourselves in this society, just to make us not feel bad about being silent. There are some issues that need to be dealt with in the courts. I do not agree to revenge. If what you're doing is vindictively carrying out revenge so you feel bad and deal with the person, wrong. But if there's an issue that has a legal case against your person, take it to court. And I would use
it's called if the matter is actionable.
If I will use the example of my pastor who sued people to court for printing his book and his material. Those were his copyrighted intellectual property, and they were selling them. And he said that everybody told him that you're a pastor, you're a man of God, leave it to God. And he said, no, this book, these materials were copyrighted under the law. So if you contravene it, you're not just offending me, you are disobeying a law. And so you will be dealt with legally. We need to have such deterrent, because when you just say leave it to God, it might never happen. And those action and reaction, when the reaction takes place, it deters people from doing the same thing over and over again.
When the producer talked about this yesterday, and I was thinking about various areas in our lives. I know when my father died, looking at his property and everything, the house we live in, my mother built that, so that is not his. But everything he has, unfortunately, was in the custody of wife number two. You know, because that's how things were back then. And then, okay, what is left for him? And he knows that the children will now what do we do to the property? But unfortunately, my mother just said, leave it to go. She didn't want to stress herself chasing Popsy's property. Now, looking at it retrospectively, should she have done that? Maybe not, because she has her peace of mind. If she had legally gone after these properties that rightfully was her husband and rightfully her children's, all of the children's own, then maybe we'll be having issues today, and people have all this one thing here and one thing there. But today, she has a peace of mind because she just left it to God. So we cannot discountenance the benefits of leaving certain things alone.
Okay. In my personal experience, I would share my mother's advice. As a lawyer, I know that there are certain issues that because in Nigeria, because we usually leave them to God. Like an instance where Murayo shared the story of a woman whose entire property she had handed over to her husband to manage. He mismanaged and inherited and, took away her properties and put her outside. It is an actionable matter. No matter how long it takes, you get justice. There was a judgment that was given for a CBN worker's wife whose husband died in the course of duty. She got her 20 million in 10 years in court. It took long, but she got justice. People usually is a justice delayed mentality. Well, let me just leave this matter to God.
But
if I think of the
you
cost
have
of
paid for
doing it,
lawyers, the time, the stress. Is it worth it?
How much do you believe in that right?
Exactly.
Women get abused in their husbands' houses. They come to me. I take them, we work with City at the domestic violence, and the woman just comes. They will put him in jail. Let me just leave him with my father's children.
Yeah.
But you believe that, and when you leave it, it continues as a trend, and that's why we've had it for long. But you see abroad, things have normalized. See, people now control anger. They control those emotions. Nobody beats anybody because there are precedents.
Right. And that is what I was going to say, really, that there's some things that are easier to take through the courts. But then when it comes to things of personal matters, especially I think with marriages, and then marriages where it breaks down and then the wife is left with nothing, and most people would advise her, leave it to God. As you mentioned abroad, you already know the man as you're getting into this marriage, that at the end of this marriage, if it comes to an end, it's likely to be 50-50. It makes some people sit up. It makes some people take more care how they go about their marriages. But here, knowing that in the end, you just put your load in a Ghana must go and go home. I don't care how many years you spent with me. So I wish, you know, even in little matters in Nigeria, that we take it through the courts. Another thing that I think that is very important that we should talk about, that we leave to God. I grew up hearing people say, Haka Allah is so. That means that's how God wants it. How some Muslims tend to do that a lot. They'll lose someone. Sometimes you can see the injustice in the way the person died.
But you see,
but we'll never pursue
I'll come to you, and I have a caller also, but
in court.
If you see how these Western kids turn out, many of them come from broken homes, from these, listen, we're going to fight this thing to court, we're going to split it 50-50, you're going to go with the mother or go with the father. And we see a lot of them today. Their behavioral patterns obviously show that they lacked that foundation. Today, many of our mothers sacrifice. I say, well, I'll just stay there and leave it to God. And today, they are thankful that their children grew up in that home, and at least they have, in a lot of cases.
I think it will be an unfair comparison to say that because that happens, that's why we have more people in broken homes. We have people from broken homes for various reasons, because we have good examples of people that fought for what was rightfully theirs and were able to take care of their themselves and the children. If they had not gotten that, it would have been worse off for them.
Okay, let me take this call. Hello, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I contribute my view on the topic on discussion. Like my sister said earlier about a pastor that sued somebody to court for, copywriting his book. I think if I will say it categorically that this day, the dispensation that we are into now, is almost so likely that we are going back to the Old Testament era, where it is an eye for eye. The children of Israelites, God says, you do this, you get the punishment immediately. And the then was when people respect God more than now. That we are talking about Christ, Jesus, church, everything is good and is perfect.
Right? Okay, so thank you very much.
That's good.
I didn't hear what you said.
What he was saying was that we're going back to the days of the Old Testament where we were doing an eye for an eye, and that now we're in the place of Jesus Christ and there's forgiveness, there's love, there's grace. But we are meant to obey the laws. Even the Bible, even Jesus said we should give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So when you live in a society where you've obeyed your own law of copyrighting your property, and somebody goes against that, that's something that you should deal with legally. But the reason most of our parents were advised, or we were told by our parents to leave things to God, is because of the diabolical. It's the case of why fight for property, where the other person will now go spiritual on you and attack your family, and you lose everything you have because you're trying to get a land. Where one of the things that kill people most is land-related tussles. Whenever people are fighting, family fighting over land, people go even to the point where we've read in papers where someone was using the axe to kill his brother over land. So people, the evil nature of human beings gets revealed when we tussle over.
So it goes back to the question. So looking at it, should you just mind your business and just
And that's what I'm saying, because in those
fight for your
cases,
happiness.
but we've also had reverse. So we're bantering both sides, so that everybody going into the decision knows what they are doing. So you might lose your life trying to hustle to get your property from your husband, but you might set precedence, because finally the Igbo women have been able to get a precedence legally that they can inherit property, and it took a woman fighting for it.
Hello, are you there?
Many women.
Hello, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
My contribution is this. You know, most times Nigerian people, I know we're gullible. God give us brain so that we can make him rest.
Exactly.
God give us brain so that we can make him rest. That is why there are some institutions who are set up. If your conscience is clear on a particular issue, you don't need to go to court. But if somebody, imagine I bought a land, work hard, God gave me the inspiration to have the money, and somebody grabbed my land and I pay over to God. You go to court. There are some certain things that God will not do for you in this earth. He can do everything, but he will never do some certain things for you because he has given you that brain. Make him rest. You see?
Okay, let me come to Nima.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about the lazy mindset. So when you fail to do the needful, you now see that, obviously, you have allowed your right to be taken from you. You have, maybe, okay, let's make an example of a land issue, for instance. You bought a land. The necessary thing is to go get that land registered and do the needful. But you failed at it. Then someone comes with a higher registration, comes before you, and then takes over. You say, okay, I leave it to God. You have failed already. So those are some examples. Those are not.
But the rationale, Nima.
I have a personal example of leave it to God. These are personal issues. These are not material things. So someone falsely accused me, destroyed my image, falsely in a very, very detrimental way. And I was very emotional about it. My mom was like, leave it to God. I didn't understand leave it to God when she kept saying, I said, how do you leave this kind of thing to God? I will take it up, my nature, I will confront and everything. So I further confronted and destroyed everything further. So when I got to listen to her, I went on one day and she said, Nima, if it's beyond praying to God, that means you can do it by yourself. So leave it to God. When I mean leave it to God, go on your knees and actually leave it to God. You've done enough, but let God take over.
Let me take this call.
I got justice.
Hello, are you there?
Hello, I'm there.
Morning, go ahead, please.
Good morning, please. My name is Jami.
Morning. Go ahead, you're live.
Concerning your discussion this morning,
Yeah.
the thing is, you shouldn't try to hold some people down because they said they are religious or whatever. Actually, God taught us the art of forgiveness. But notwithstanding, there are some issues that when they occur, the Almighty God give us reasons for us to seek for justice on earth. So that is it.
Right.
There are some things that when they occur, you have the right to seek for justice.
Right. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, I was going to say that there are some personal issues to have had where I would hear somebody say something about me. And especially my husband, he's sort of like my sounding board. I would go and I'll be really upset about it. And he would say to me, you know, take it easy. What they said, is it true about you? No, it is not. You know it is not true about you. Then let it go. And many times in those cases, sometimes many years after, it comes to show that, you know, that was the best decision to take. And sometimes when you do confront the person, it just makes it worse. But there are things that, there's a place I wanted to go, which is what silence does. When you don't pursue justice, what it does is that it causes war. And I feel that most of the problems that we have concerning communal clashes and things like that has to do with not properly getting justice or following
as
through.
Topo has said, it's both ways, because I went to Ekiti and I saw lots of homes, lands, properties, houses built. Nobody living in them. You know what? Because they're family disputes. Who owns this? And the houses that they abandoned, the owners have long died. So the point is that the things you're fighting for, you can't take them to heaven.
Exactly.
All those houses, everything that you're all clamoring for, you can't take it with you. So why don't you just let bygones be bygones? You know what? You want it, take it. Because half the time, the kids today can't even live in those houses.
There's something Nima said to me one time when we were driving home, and he said that there's mediation. Many Nigerians don't do that. You don't have to go to court immediately. There's a place for coming together.
There's a reasonable families, trust me.
There are places where you should leave things to God, and there are places where you should pursue legal.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll bring in our celebrity guest and ask him the same question. What would he do? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back. to your view.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have with us Timmy Tokwe Christopher, popularly known as Tokwe Tadela, in the building. We'll introduce you properly a bit later when we want to talk about you. But we have to ask you, this is our hot topic. What are your thoughts on it? Would you like to leave things to God, or do you want to just take things head on? Do you think it's a good idea to leave certain things to fate?
On the one hand, for me, is there are no hard and fast rules to this thing, to be honest. It depends on the situation.
Right.
But I like to tackle issues like this with questions to make sense of, that's how I make sense of the world, you know, questioning and just seeking a different stance. Let's take an issue. Let's take like rape, for example. You know, rape is a crime. And you could be a Christian and you could forgive the perpetrator of rape. But does that absolve the rapist from getting justice or from the consequence of his actions and all? And I don't know the answer, to be honest, because I'm a questioning person. And okay, let's say for instance, you know, we talk about being born again. Okay, what if the rapist now gives his life to Christ and becomes born again? Does that excuse him from the consequence of that action that he
well, wouldn't you want to focus on your own healing as the person that was raped? Like, let me just heal myself, move on, and just act like nothing like ever happened, than trying to ruffle the feathers.
There is that on the one hand, but on the other hand is, what if this person goes on doing this thing over and over again?
Let's talk about your personal healing. Healing would be that you found closure on the matter. Closure would be that, you know, the person has paid for the crimes committed.
And maybe the person is locked up somewhere.
So that you're sure that it's not happening, or that you're so... Okay, I feel vindictive. You've done something wrong to me. That's personal rape. And I think you should go to jail for it. You're in jail. I've forgiven you. You're in jail, but okay, we're done now with the matter. The matter is closed and over with. Is that not what healing would be for a person?
I guess. And even the Bible says
that you see the person freely moving around.
I just remember this thing I watched on TV in America. A man's son shot another man's son. So someone died and another person went to jail. These fathers have come together to help go into communities, to teach young boys how to better behave. I mean, that is healing, that is love, that is good.
That is society,
but people, but in this case, forgiveness has happened, but also the person is
justice.
Exactly, justice is being given.
So we have another topic, actually. So I want to just hear your thoughts on that one. But there's another topic that caught our attention. And since you're a young man, you know, this is a good question to start. What advice do you have for a newly married couple whose wife's house is more befitting than that of the husband? Whose house would you move into? I know we've discussed this a bit sometime in the past, but I know you trended recently where that was a married couple, and they're saying, okay, which house? The one to the right in the picture on the screen, the one to the house is his house, the one to the left is her house. And you're newly married. Which one would you move into? Let me start with you.
Again, there are many ways to look at it, but for me, I would want to look at it from a functional point of view, and not about, you know, whether it's for the guy or for the... I mean, we're meant to be, you know, partners. We're meant to be one, and that's how I look at it. So this place, which of the houses are more accessible? You know, which is more comfortable? Those are the issues I'm going to look at. You know, I tell people personally, I don't mind, you know, whoever is I'm going to get married to, or who's going to marry me. We can be living in a mansion and I can be living in a flat. You know, I would live with you and we'll be cool. Like, you know, I'm totally cool with it. And I feel like...
And you're not afraid that people might say that...
No.
You're a gold digger.
People have mouths. People have mouths. And the mouths are meant to be used to talk. People have brains and minds, and it's meant to be used to think. So I feel like even as just generally, as a rule, as a human being, it's really good when you go past the path of what would they say and what would they think, because I think it hinders.
It's interesting you brought that, because I want us to put this properly so that men out there can understand what you just said. What you're saying is that it's not about is her house or my house? Is the functionality, like how close is it to my place of work? How far is it from what we do? How comfortable is it? How nice is it? You know, both of you then decide. So it's not about his or hers. Fantastic point.
Hold on. I like how you said that, but we have read stories of when this happened, the man moves into the house and God help the woman, she criticizes something. I don't blame you, it's because we're living in your house. Isn't that there's a backlash that comes with that?
Yeah, that's the man's problem. I feel like, to be honest, I wouldn't feel emasculated the woman, like I said again, is quote unquote doing better.
Kuda. Let's break it down very well.
Break it down.
So the wife's mansion
Yeah.
and your house,
Yeah,
which one
my
is
flat.
not a house? Your flat, which
Yeah.
one is not a house? Which one is not can you not make a home in? That's the one question. Number two question is, it's a mansion. He needs maintenance. What is your resources as a partner in that relationship?
To be honest,
Who is, hey,
to be honest,
are you thinking of maintaining?
I think you're moving like maybe in another direction. At the core of it, I mean, let's face the facts. At the core of it is this issue of it's because it's a house. Let's leave issues of maintenance and all that. I think those they're primary. And they're important, but I feel like in this scenario...
But if you don't address them, then they'll bring problems like what Miriam just said.
Yeah, I get that, but...
We can't remove the fact that the men have this ego thing, and every man has it.
And I agree.
Every man has it.
I agree.
Everybody now knows how to handle it.
Yeah.
But every man has ego. And I think women have ego too. But we have a culture that our society brings up our women and our men to derive masculinity and their ego from capacity to own the house, raise, fund the family, and provide for everything. So when a man is unable, it becomes a thing of pride that I'm moving into your own house. I'm moving into a woman's house after marriage. It means that I'm not confident enough in my capacity as a man to provide for my family.
So that's his problem. That's the man's problem, not
there
our
is
problem.
a story.
But she's unwilling.
There's a story of and someone really, really close to me who on their wedding day, when they sprayed money to the couple, the woman packed the money, took it home, allegedly to pray over the money and bring it back. Oh, okay. And the man said that he saw the drama. His wife didn't say anything. We are getting married. The money that was sprayed to us went first to your parents' house. Is that the way they want to be controlling us in this marriage? And that was the man's mindset that from this moment on, we have drawn the line. Yeah. Your parents want to control my house. It will not be allowed. Okay. We cannot devolve the fact that our society sees these things as masculine, feminine. You must move into
Benga, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mohayo.
Morning.
Good morning, lady. I think the real issue here is that a lot of people don't understand what marriage is about, and we major on the minor.
Right.
Just like Ben Bruce said at the Senate yesterday, a lot of Nigerians are not as knowledgeable as they should be. We celebrate Barack Obama. Barack Obama got married and moved to his wife's flat. Later became president. It's not important where you move into. There are a lot of other factors that you should put in the Constitution. The example they just gave, the real issue with that couple was a communication gap. When you're going into marriage, the solid thing is about how committed are you to it, how solid is your communication, what are the functional values, where are you living. In fact, the big house, you might not have to live there. You could rent it out, depending on your income at that time. You don't have to live in either of the houses. True. You could make money from either of the houses and move into somewhere neutral. It's about communication. It's about value added. What schools are the kids going to attend? Where's the place of work? Which one is nearer? Comfort.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Benga, because that's a very valid point. Because we're addressing the male ego here. I've said it at this table for several times that I attended a wedding. I was there. They didn't gist me. The wedding was at Caverton. I'll never forget. The Ashwebi was the turquoise. We're all there. Wife lives in VGC. Husband lives in Ilupeju. Finish wedding. We have time to go because they're like we're all there gisting, and the fight broke out.
How do you leave that till
on the wedding day? I am not going to VGC, and you're following me to Ilupeju, and right there, that same day,
it broke.
They just went their separate ways.
Okay.
That same day.
You see, when we bring topics like this, we have people call and tweet and give sensible explanation, and then I'm wondering, who are those men outside that call people out for being, oh, that man, he cannot take care of his wife, oh, it's the wife that is controlling everything because she has money. So Nigerian men, where are you? This we don't see you in real life, we don't see you, but we hear you on TV and we hear you on Twitter. What's happening?
I feel that's why these conversations can't end. It has to be ongoing. Even personally, I've had a lot of unlearning to do and relearning also, because we've learned some things growing up, and certain things about gender roles and this and that and that. You know, like I don't like to cook. I'm unmarried, yeah. if the woman can't cook, it's okay. Maybe we'll get someone that will, I'm sure I'll be able to afford someone to cook for us. So I feel like some of these things that are not really that important. Yeah, we need
so
to
you
kick
are
it to
seeing
the
her
curb.
as equal. You are not seeing her as the cook coming from as from
As
our
much
father
as
house.
possible.
Just be coming with your cookery skills, cooking whatever.
But we cannot remove the fact that women, empowered women, are bold. Empowered women are vocal, and our men are not raised to handle it. So most of the time, when we see a woman own the house, there are minor things like maybe fixing little things, and she'll say, "You should do it now. At least this is I built the house. What's there in you fixing the house?" And that is a major blow.
Yeah.
And we cannot deny that these things might just come up, and that woman would throw some small. It might not be intentional.
It might not even be
joking.
outside.
But when you, it might even be outside.
Let me
So it
add
is
to
to
that.
preserve the marriage. It might be better.
Let me take have a call.
For them to
Bolaji
move
is
into
holding.
this
Bolaji is
other
holding for a while. Bolaji, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Good
Morning.
morning.
Thanks that men are calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, please, I'm so interested in what you are discussing, and this question I've been finding answer to for a very long time, and I think he has some relationship with what people are discussing this morning. Now, I think the Bible said a man will leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife.
Okay, so it's the wife's house.
In fact, from my understanding, the woman should be the one to be paying our dowry as women. So what is the problem in a man leaving his own personal abode and move to his own wife's house? If there's any contention in this, in the first place, I think there's no union at all. There's no union between the two of them. Because when they say my wife is my wife, so whatever she has belongs to me. Whatever belongs to me belongs to her. And we become one. So when we become one, we don't disparity on who owns this or who owns that. So
Thank you. Fantastic.
So I was going to build on what Tokwa was saying. So I did not move. My husband did not move to my house. I moved to his house. But because I'm a bold woman, I determine where your room will be, where the bed will be. And recently when I had my children, I just told him, this is how I want the room designed. I designed it from the hospital, imagine the bed, everything. And I came home and I moved him. To the guy did not even have a house. And one day he started raising questions. Where am I in this house? Am I your houseboy? I seem not to have my own space.
Imagine if it was your
imagine
own
if it
house.
was my house.
taken
That
it
debate had to come because I would still be controlling the space and everything. Would you take it normally? Like that is just my nature now.
understand?
I'm not in
That's
I mean, I don't know because I've not been there, but I'm conscious of the fact that I need to be the man who is not crazy, quote unquote, really. Because I'm interested in the issue of this whole gender balance and gender roles and all, because I've seen it firsthand where a man has emasculated his wife to the point where, and sometimes we call some things love, and it's not actually love. It's just your insecurity as a man. A woman wants to do something, you don't want her to do it because you care for her too much, or just stay here, just be here, don't do anything. And you just realize years go by and by and by, and the woman hasn't done anything. The woman doesn't have a life. She's raised children with her life.
She's building your ego.
And it's really annoying. So I've seen it firsthand. So personally, I just hate that whole fact that.
So you want a confident woman, a career woman who can hold her own.
Be a career woman. Be a boss of yourself. I love it. I want it.
We've had people accuse men who have spoken like you before marriage, and then they get into marriage, and then they think that is not what I want. A lot of people want the idea of a confident woman, but when they finally meet that confident woman, they can't handle her.
But the thing about confidence is, being confident doesn't mean that you're again a crazy person. Yes, it doesn't mean you're a crazy person. I'm a confident person, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be looking down on people. I'm going to put people down and all.
Let me take this call from Lokoja. Thanks for calling. Are you there, Miyaki?
Miyaki, yeah.
Go ahead, please. Morning.
I don't know where we get our ego from. Our mothers of those days and father were so much interwoven. Hello?
We are hearing you very clearly.
Yeah. I don't know where we get our ego from. The problem we have is ego. Those days, our father, our mothers, they were like interwoven in love. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, go on.
Keep talking.
Yeah. The ego of this is caused the problem. There's nothing wrong if the
wife has a good house and the other one can pack it. But these days, because of the ego.
Okay, all right. So the issue of ego. So they've trained us to know how to nurture a man's ego.
He's your
rub
baby.
Ego, he's your first baby born. That whole, he's your.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Please.
When I was a teenager,
Right.
I was maybe 15, 14, 15. And then I was going to go out with a girl. And imagine at that age, I was putting myself under pressure. I was asking an uncle of mine, so how will I pay for this thing? Will I pay? I'm sure I didn't even have money, maybe to pay for bus fare or for food or whatever, but I was already putting myself under that pressure. Why? I don't know how I came about that, but thinking about it now, why? Why couldn't I have talked to the girl? Okay, we're going to this place together. How about we split it? How about this? Or I don't have money. Do you have? Or stuff like that. You get? But
If
there's
you
just that feeling that
say-
I'm not the G. You get? I'm not the G.
But
So
at,
I have to.
at
I have
15,
to.
even the girl will say, this one not serious.
You know, so I get that too.
So where did that
But
come from? That because Mariam asked a valid question. Those men, those egoistic men, where are they? Because all the men I've called seem to be rational.
Nice.
You seem rational. So those ones that make it look as if, what nonsense, I cannot move into your house.
Yeah.
Where are they? Do they really exist? Or is it actually somewhere in our brain?
They are the majority.
they're around.
They are the majority.
They're just looking at us and saying, come home. I'll meet you at home.
But you know, I'm very around them. I mean, I'm sharing a few of my stories. I mean, when we got married, myself and my husband agreed to live in 1004. You know, now something at that time we're just trying to start our lives together, and 1,000 it's pretty expensive. So it was something we wanted, stupidly wanted actually, and we started living there. But my husband had to say, Mariam, you got a job in TVC, you're on the mainland. It doesn't make any sense to be living in this place. Let's go and find a house close to your office. It was obviously a step down, but eventually we found somewhere that was way cheaper.
Not a step down now.
Trust me, I love my house. Yeah. So way cheaper, you know. But you see, you initially when you go there, you think like a mental. I know it's 1,004. My friends are there. All my friends are living in Lekki. I used to every weekend we're hanging out with them, going to parties there, doing the whole newlywed thing. But unfortunately, we had to reality check. Auntie, you got a job. We are moving. I mean, I work in Ikeja. We are moving to the mainland, whether you like it or not. That kind of decision, a lot of married couples don't want to say, I know, I have that lifestyle. No. You cannot come and mess up my own lifestyle. I live in Lekki.
But you already answered that, you know, that when both of you have become one, you ask the crucial questions of what is most reasonable for us. The challenge is that most people get into marriage carrying their baggages of the reality of the way my parents were, and my mother was, my father was, and so we're not dealing with each other as both of us are individuals, are married. What do we want for our lives going forward? But if you can address those questions, you realize that there's no need to be arguing over which house or which.
Okay, let's take a few tweets and we're going to break. Then.
Okay, Star Girl says, my godmother and her husband agreed to move into our own apartment because it was more comfortable. Years later, he built a mansion. Now they are living happily. Understanding is key for every relationship. Bode Davis says, it's irrelevant which house to move to. As long as both parties agree with themselves which one they will be comfortable in. Nigerian mentality. In Britain, people don't think that way. So April says, I'm sure Tokwe is not a Yoruba man. Because on no account will a man, husband, move into a wife's house, a big house or not.
So Ostino says, a woman should show humility to her husband no matter how successful she is, and the man should love the wife. The wife can be boss at work, but the man is the head of the home. Full stop.
Now the Kings of Civil Engineering says, Tokwe is certainly not married. He cannot understand what marriage is all about. He will soon face reality. No integrity man can pack into a woman's house after marriage. When his marriage issue always bring, when he married, issues always bring married people to talk about. Okay, when he's married, always bring married people to talk about this issue. You cannot understand.
So those are the people we're talking about. Let's go on. When we come back, we'll now engage our celebrity guests properly. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Emir Christopher, popularly known as Tokwe Tedela, is an award-winning Nigerian actor and a movie producer. He has starred in over 15 Hollywood movies and television shows, and he has won different awards. Welcome with us again, Mr. Tokwe Tedela. can join the conversation 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweets. Please kindly put the scroll the numbers because people are complaining that we're not scrolling the numbers enough on the screens. So anyway, your character kissed our Susu. Okay, no problem. But how was it?
It was a job. It was okay.
See, my mom always says, she says, this acting, it's just giving all these men access to beautiful girls that on a normal day will not have access to.
Let me tell you a secret. See, doing things like that are not interesting. Okay. I'm going to be honest. It's just our job to make it look, believable and all, but it's not the best thing. Yeah.
Because everybody's in the room and it's just very...
Sometimes they're not people. Sometimes there's not a lot of people, but it's just not very interesting.
So let's walk through that kind of scene again. Just give us an idea, So you see a pretty girl like this. I mean, she's married, obviously, but...
No, but she wasn't married then.
She wasn't married then.
So did you ever think that possibility that this girl might actually have something for... Because she's pretty.
No, I mean, let me say something. I would be hypocritical to sit here and think that sometimes when you work with, beautiful women, actresses, you don't have thoughts. Yeah, everybody has thoughts. It depends on what you do with the thoughts and all. So that's the best.
So what do you do with your own thoughts?
What do I do? Nothing. Most of the time.
So there was this scene that went viral online. It wasn't related to you though. Okay. Good thing. The lady was kissing this hunk, this
like... and RMD.
No,
I know.
This,
I think I know
and they caught the scene. Say, don't cut anything. He held the girl. The guy held her back. Like they were going to cut. Like they were going. The director was cutting the scene to go on, and she didn't let go. She was in the character. Have you ever been caught in that kind of situation where you're enjoying the scene?
The female is actually enjoying the scene.
Honestly, I have never.
Well, you see, this thing with acting is so believable that people, take it outside the screen. Because there was a time they said you were married. So when you were talking, I said you're not married yet. I was shocked. To a beautiful actress, Rosalind.
No, so what happened was we shot a TV series together, and in the series we were a couple. So there were really nice wedding pictures from the series that got online, and then
as a young man, when you date, when you have this kind of shows, do you take the girls out to date? Do you guys hang out? I mean, just curious.
Not exactly. It depends. It depends. Some people are your friends even before you work together, and you could see.
So how's it been? Tell us about your career. Nollywood. You've been. I mean, you called on our show before. You were spin of an award, and how is the movie industry looking at it now? Do you think it has really grown? Has it helped your career, or do you think it's still lagging behind?
It's still growing. There's still a long way to go, but we can't deny the fact that we've come a long way. Even before I joined or started acting, a lot of talented people, visionary people, started doing things, started telling our stories, and I feel like we're not at the promised land, but we're on the way. We're definitely on the way.
So in school, you started acting.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people always say this, that their parents ask them to go to school to read a certain professional course, and acting is seen as being, not being serious. Do you have any experience with your parents? Did they encourage you? Did they support you, or was something you had to do?
Okay, so
hiding from them?
In secondary school, I was a bit of a trant and just generally unserious person. I didn't really have any direction. I was in science class at some point. They kicked me out because I wasn't doing well, so I went to arts and all. So at the point, I'm like, okay, what exactly do I want to do with my life? After I tried to be an aeronautical engineer, an accountant, just many things, confusion, And I realized that I really love acting, and it was something I thought I wanted to pursue. So when I started, and it looked like I had my focus on,
I was so happy.
I was fully supported.
What kind of roles do you enjoy playing the most? Because there's some people that just like this kind of bloke-looking roles or the fatherly. What kind of roles do you enjoy? Did you like this particular role the clip we just saw?
The general.
I like the major.
Okay.
I like stories. I like characters that are flawed and that are put in situations that are just really tough. Characters that explore, the human condition, pain, sadness, madness, just stuff like that.
Good.
Let's talk about the issues in your business now. In Nollywood, generally, there are issues of you got an award, and one would expect that life would just change. The lifestyle and everything would change, but we hear actors every day keep saying, this thing doesn't pay the hustle. This popularity, the fame, it doesn't work. These are issues surrounding, there are issues that, of course, impede your progress in the business, piracy and all that. how have you been able, or is there really an existing platform within the Nollywood where you people have one voice to combat certain things like piracy, or make sure that producers are checked, actors are paid their worth, things like that? Is there a platform, or are you personally doing anything to push for that?
Personally, I mean, I can't sit here and say there's something I'm doing personally to do that, but there are guilds.
And there are issues.
Yeah, there are issues, definitely. There are guilds. But the question is, are the guilds working? And I usually like to say that we don't exist in a vacuum. We exist in Nigeria. And generally, we know how our country is. You get, so you can't remove that from the industry. So
let me take this Precious. Precious, are you there? Oh, sorry for keeping it. Yes, stop it.
I wanted to ask you concerning quality of scripts. Because we've been to the cinema to watch Nigerian movies, and I'm like wondering, are the writers, why don't we have proper dialogue? People, we talk, we're having a conversation, but in movies, they don't, it's as if the writers don't know how to incorporate real dialogue into the movies. Have you found it challenging to select scripts? Do you find it challenging, or do you just go along and like, I need to pay my bills, I just pick any script that comes my way?
Again, I'm going to be quite honest. I don't know how to answer this question, but the truth is, I select what I do, honestly, and I don't know if that's a good way to go. You hear what I mean? To be honest, anybody who's trying to be an actor, I don't know if it's a good way to go. I have had to. I'm very picky in terms of the work that I do, but I can't sit here and say.
Your pickiness.
Yes, I'm questioning my pickiness. I honestly question my pickiness because it's a popularity-based industry, and it's almost like the more work you do, the more you're seen, and the more quote-unquote value that it is that you have, and all, and not just about your craft as an actor. So these are personal struggles that I have to deal with, and all. So I don't know if that decision is the right decision.
Let me take Shade from Houston. Shade, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. over here. My break is about to be over.
Wow.
Yes. Let me first of all say, you guys, we are so proud of you and everything that you are doing.
Thank you, Shade.
You guys are beautiful, smart, intelligent.
Thank you.
And I think you represent Nigerian women really well.
Thank you.
Regarding the issue with, whether or not the wife should move to the husband's house or the husband should move to the wife house.
Yes.
I think for me it's a matter of understanding.
Right.
And I think it's the work that needs to be done from the beginning, not when you are in the middle of it. I think there's a lot of things that go into marriage that people don't talk about.
When they're dating.
The beginning is everything always starts well until you get in there and you realize, okay, there's a lot of adjustment to make and all that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the maturity of individual couple, your experience from how you grow up and how you are trained and all that.
Right.
And, for men, you will see when they're in the public eyes or something, everybody always has the right thing to say, but then privately, it's another ballgame.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Shade. I didn't want to go back to that point, but she made a very valid point. Maturity is important because Mariam said something about family members who are asking you as a man have decided, I'm going to move into the house. When aunties, uncles start coming and start saying, now wow, those things, and it takes a mature man to be able to withhold that. Now, come back to your career. I'm not even interested in your career again. Are you dating anybody?
I'm not.
You're not.
Why?
You're single.
I'm single, yeah.
Why is it taking you so long to settle down?
Wow. What determines length of long taking?
Okay, so you want to be 50 before you marry?
Because people feel that, just to put it into perspective, people feel that when you have blown and you become really successful, it becomes tougher to find true love,
and
to be sure who would really like. Do you understand? So don't you feel that sense of, let me settle down now when I'm still relatively
I'm open to settling down. Let me give you a story. You know, I liked the girl.
Okay.
I liked the girl, but she didn't like me.
Okay.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
Are you
Wait, let him finish now. Please.
She didn't like me. And all, I tried it a bit. Maybe I didn't try hard enough, but, you know, I did, yeah. So there was that. And then, what else? Okay, then I liked another person. I met someone else, but, you know, she was taken, and you have to respect boundaries and all.
Are they in this profession that you do?
That's not important.
No, so you know there's some
That's
people,
not important.
there's some
Are they in
people
the same
that
profession?
seek people that they know that are unattainable. Do you think you may have something like that? Maybe you really do not want to commit, so you look for those that you already know that are sort of unattainable.
We're diagnosing you right now.
No,
So are you searching?
Yeah.
well, I don't know that I'm, you know, searching. I'm going about my life. And
It's not searching.
No.
Like go for unattainable ladies.
Unfortunately, I'm going to break. See, they always call for break when it's juicy. We'll be right back, Jerry.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
She likes this.
Thanks for staying with us. I know people are going to say, well, ask about his career. We'll get to what you're working on. But what kind of a woman would you like to have? What does she look like? Tell us.
I think the most important thing for me is being a considerate person, being a kind person. Those things are very, very, like,
Very
that's
important.
foundational for me. And I'm not even trying to be, it's just what it is.
Kind.
You know, there's this quote about how, I don't care about how you treat me, it's about how you treat the waiter. So, you know, you need to have sense.
Right.
You know, in local parlance.
Everybody has been saying,
In
just have
local
sense.
parlance, yeah, you need to just have sense.
Is it
you know.
that we are having a more...
Senseless girls.
Yes, a lot of girls that are all beautiful and...
Yeah, I mean, I can't sit here. I mean, it's
not
possible.
We had a young man also this week.
This week,
same
that was
exact
saying-
thing.
Yeah,
that-
it's possible you have guys too that, you know, don't have sense. But my thing is, like, you know, strip off all the beauty, strip off all of that. I mean, I want a beautiful woman, definitely.
Yeah.
But strip all of that off.
Yeah.
You know, and just have sense. You
Okay,
know?
great.
Yeah.
So this sense thing is, we need to
Kind.
discuss it.
Girls.
How does a young lady have sense? We need to
Yes.
Let's talk about your career. What are you working on? What should we be looking out for?
I'm working on a lot of things. I recently produced my second feature film. Yeah. It's titled Killing Jade. I'm working on a one-man show titled Womanizer, which, you know, we plan to take around. I'm working on that
Nice.
too.
A play?
Yes, a play.
And that's going to be you. You're going to be the
Yes,
featured.
I'm gonna be, and I'm working on another feature film. I'm collaborating with a couple of people and all that. I mean,
You
details
know
of
this
that.
premiere in London, UK, all
Well, this is going to be big, to be honest. That's the idea. When I read the script, it was a story that really, really touched me because it shows Nigeria and the struggles of the common men in a rather different way, and I think it's going to be really
So you're
engaging.
busy, you're successful, and all you're looking for is sense. Please, ladies.
Lady get sense.
Let me advise you, Oga.
Okay.
You know that girl you ignored in secondary school?
Maybe she has
She's
sense
your wife.
now.
She already
Yeah, those girls.
I wasn't that kind of guy in secondary school.
Yeah, you're the ladies' man. You are.
No, what's it? I just
The
was
one in
that, you
secondary
know,
school is
that,
married
that
already.
guy.
That girl you had a crush on, but you never had the confidence. She's your wife.
No, it's the one that had a crush on him that he did not respond
No,
to.
they not okay. Look at the one I had
Yes,
a
the
crush
one
on
that
you.
you had a crush on you
Go
in
and look
100
for her.
level.
Because these new girls, they see you out there. They are not a star, so you might not be real.
But
That's
let me
why.
just ask something on social media, because I realized that a lot of people do crazy things to trend. You know, we have this thing of everybody just wants to blow online, you want to gather the followers. And I've been to your Instagram page, you're really like, you're doing some motivational deep stuff, like you're serious.
People don't like that. People don't like that. I'm going to be honest, but you just have to live your truth, you know, and try to balance it out, basically.
So do you intend to like get more relaxed and, you know, post pictures of you lounging or something to get people more engaged online?
Definitely.
See, now I know that's your problem.
Wow.
You're too serious.
No,
You're too serious.
not, like-
All these motivational, success is the clinic of, you cannot move forward. Oh, that one, please calm down.
I like the fun actually. I like the fact that you're level-headed. You're
going to
thinking.
put you in our
So,
prayer
girls,
points on your
if you're
video.
looking for a level-headed
Let's read some
person
tweets.
that is thinking,
So Andrew straight from is, what is wrong with these Niger ladies? Are you married? When will you get married? Can I start preparing Ashobi for the occasion? So firstly, I don't know this actor. Secondly, he must be an actor that loves laryngitis roles. Thirdly, ask the actor, will Nollywood have a location where they can say this is a place called Nollywood?
the issue we talked about.
You know,
I mean,
so
do you want to-
I was saying that about 3 years ago, the last administration, before the current one, disbursed some funds for the film industry, and I believe that part of the monies from those funds was meant to build a film village and build studios and all. I don't know what happened to the funds, and how it was disbursed, but we've had issues where money is disbursed to the industry and we don't see it. We don't see anything. And it's part of the freaking corruption that is bedeviling the whole country. And also, there are issues that need to be dealt with.
He says, I don't know.
This Ehi and Andrew always everything. Can you find people that don't usually...
No, we love Ehi.
We love Ehi and
Andrew.
Andrew. Thank you.
He said, I don't know. And this talk with Tedela, I love this guy, so they're loving you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sarah says, you guys are... Oh, moved. You guys are just a problem to the country and yourself for refusing to see in a reasonable way. So people that it was addressing...
Yeah, a lot of talking about the old topic. Like everybody's talking about that old
someone
topic.
says, please tell Tokwe to try and get married. Maybe that's why he doesn't know anything about women and when they provide more than their husbands.
Okay, we have to run off, unfortunately. Let me let you, since you're a motivational speaker.
Motivated
you have
person.
all
No, it's just serious.
Since you're a deep
reflective person.
give us one deep message for our viewers, especially those people who love you.
The single guys. Are
That's
looking for
hard.
slay queens.
Just drop a comment.
But for me, the thing is, I feel like there's gold in everybody. And it's our responsibility to explore the gold. And it may look like there's no gold, because I've been there. Last year was a rough year for me personally. I thought that, my life, nothing is happening in my life. But I thank God that I was able to just sit back and look at the gifts that I've been blessed with and just, looked at how I can exploit these gifts, both for myself and both for people around me and all. So I feel like that's the way to go.
Fantastic, nice one. So if you're a young lady out there,
And you have
someone just said,
sense.
you are gold.
Okay.
Somebody needs to just know how to bring it out for
Go
you.
and have
Yeah,
sense.
you're gold.
Everybody, not just
Not just
young
the
women
young
out there.
lady now. The young lady, you have gold and you have sense.
That's what she's
All right,
looking
so
for.
if you would like to be part of our live audience on Wednesdays, please send your name, your phone number, and preferably a picture to your view, one word, at tvccommunications.tv. I can scroll, be fantastic. So when you do that, we help us have a database of live audience so that we can get as many people in the park, because we realize that some people are left behind. You come early and some people come in, some others don't get in. So once you have your name, we can then invite you, can get a proper invite and then come. So we can have many different people coming onto the show on Wednesdays. So it's not the same people all the time. That's what we're trying to do. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.